Tonight, we have an update to a First Coast News investigation. We're now learning Florida's Attorney General has intervened in the case involving a St. Augustine surrogate mother.
It's a story I first told you about last week. Kyla Simpson is fighting for the custody of the children she gave birth to after she says the intended parent, a man from China, still has not picked up the children, and they were born 20 months ago.
Investigative reporter Riley Phillips is joining us now with the latest on this case. And Riley, there was actually movement on this case just today.
Yeah, since our reporting on Wednesday, Florida Attorney General James Uthmire has intervened on behalf of the surrogate mother Kyla Simpson and her attorneys. They had filed an emergency motion to stop the children from being removed from the U.S. and taken to China. A judge in St. Johns County initially denied that motion, but this morning the judge changed course.
As long as the children are still here in the United States and we get to present our case, there's still hope.
Relief for St. Augustine surrogate mother Kyla Simpson and her husband Lincoln. Simpson was a surrogate for a man in China. She gave birth to triplets in Jacksonville on November 4th, 2024, but the intended parent never picked up his children. The babies are now nearing 20 months old, and they have been living with Simpson since their birth, though one of the triplets passed away last year due to complications with RSV. Once Simpson began the legal process of terminating the intended parent's parental rights, the intended parent's attorney filed an emergency pickup order to take the boys from Simpson's custody. A St. Johns County judge approved that order, and the intended parent's attorney says the boys have been in some sort of foster care for the last month.
Kyla and Lincoln have not seen their sons since June 17th. They don't know where they are. There is no filing before the court which states where these children are today.
Ellen Kaplan represents the Simpsons. She says after weeks of trying to stop the boys from being removed from the U.S. and being denied, she reached out to the Florida Attorney General's office.
Once the children go to China, there's no court order, no appeal, no anything that anybody can do to bring them back.
The Attorney General filed an emergency motion asking the court to prevent the boys from leaving the U.S. In the recent filing, the Attorney General argues the intended parent did not establish paternity under Florida law since the initial uniform custody agreement was signed in California after the children's birth. The Attorney General also argued the need to act quickly because Simpson received an alert that applications for passports for the boys have been filed with the U.S. State Department. In an order filed Monday morning, a St. Johns County judge granted a temporary injunction.
A Florida judge has barred their removal from this country, and the court has said that the basic questions such as paternity and the children's best interests still have to be decided with evidence on the record.
I reached out to the intended parent's attorney for a comment on the Attorney General's intervention, but I have not received a response. Kaplan says the Simpsons just want to be able to plead their case in front of a judge.
We look forward to having the opportunity to present everything.
Now, there is a hearing scheduled for next week in St. Johns County. The Attorney General also petitioned the Florida Supreme Court for a writ of habeas corpus, which is a judicial order used to bring a person in custody before the court. An agreement was made between all parties involved, and the writ was dismissed just hours ago.